Hi, everyone. Father Tony here with this week's chapel message. In his letter to the church in Rome, Paul writes to the persecuted members of the church, "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." Today, in the Episcopal Church's calendar of saints, we celebrate the life of Father Hiram Hisanori Kano. Father Kano was born into a Japanese noble family in 1889. His father was a member of the Japanese parliament. And rather than pursuing a life in politics, Hiram chose to study agriculture at the Imperial University in Tokyo, where he graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree. Nebraska native and U.S. Secretary of State William Jennings Bryan was a friend of Hiram's father and convinced him to let Hiram move to the U.S. and continue his studies at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, where he earned a master's degree in agricultural economics. After graduation, he married and bought a 300-acre farm near Litchfield, Nebraska. Kano became very active in the Japanese Americanization Society, teaching English and working as a translator and advocate for Japanese immigrants. In 1921, Kano and Bishop Beecher, the Episcopal bishop for western Nebraska, fought against a bill introduced in the Nebraska legislature that would have made it illegal for any Japanese person living in the state to own property. Thankfully, the bill was defeated. But throughout the 1920s, Kano became very active in the Episcopal Church, working with Japanese living in the Platte River Valley. And he was ordained a deacon in 1928 and became a priest in 1936. On Sunday, December 7th, 1941, the Japanese attacked the U.S. Navy base at Pearl Harbor, forcing the United States into World War II. After finishing church services in North Platte that morning, Father Kano was arrested by local police and interrogated by federal agents. During the war, there was a deep level of mistrust of Japanese immigrants in the United States, so much so that the government created internment camps and rounded up thousands of Japanese Americans and forced them to live in these camps out of fear that they might be spies or that they weren't loyal to the U.S. Because of Kano's family ties to the Japanese government and his position as a leader in the Japanese immigrant community, the government decided that Father Kano was a threat to national security, and they sent him to an internment camp. While being held in the camp away from his family, Father Kano taught English classes to the other prisoners and led worship, ministered to and cared for all those around him, including his jailers, other prisoners, and German prisoners of war who were also housed in the camps. In 1944, Father Kano was released and allowed to move his family to Wisconsin, where he received formal seminary training and earned another master's degree. Upon returning to Nebraska, Father Kano worked as an Episcopal missionary among the Japanese residents in Nebraska until his retirement in 1957. During Father Kano's life, he experienced the evil of racial prejudice and xenophobia, being discriminated against and even imprisoned simply because of where he was born. This could have easily made him bitter. But Father Kano was not overcome by this evil, but rather overcame the evil with good, using it as an opportunity to love and care for others, even those who had imprisoned him. Father Kano's memoir, Nikkei Farmer on the Great Plains, was published in English in 2010, and he was listed in the Episcopal Church's calendar of saints in 2015. So I would encourage you, if you're interested, to find a copy of that book. It is a very interesting read, and encourage you to learn more about the life of this very inspiring and interesting Nebraska saint. So until next week, I hope that you all have a great week in school and stay safe. God bless.